Hey guys, my name is Brittany Bryden. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel. This class is going to be an all levels power flow class. I will cue blocks today, so if you have 2 blocks, grab them. If you don't have 2 blocks, don't worry about it. You can still do this practice. Just during those times when I'm cueing it, just either take your hands to the floor or wherever else feels natural for you. I do highly recommend though that if you are doing a home practice regularly, grab a couple blocks. They're a big game changer in your practice and they can help out a lot. So please, as always, modify as you need, listen to your body, take breaks whenever you need, maybe have some water with you and a towel, and let's get going, all right? So I want you to come into table with those 2 blocks. So make your way under your hands and knees. Blocks will come underneath the hands. Knees hip distance apart. And then just moving through cat-cow, warming up the spine. So you're going to take an inhale, lift the chest through the gate of the shoulders, tailbone up. Exhale, flex to the spine. And again, inhale, draw the chest forwards and the tailbone up. Exhale, round. So just moving through a couple more on your own. One more time. And then we're going to sit our hips back for child's pose. So you're going to keep your hands on the blocks, but you might have to slide them forwards and bring your forehead to the floor. If this does not feel good on your knees, hips, ankles, all the things, just walk your knees back a bit, keep your hips lifted, and come into what's called a puppy, so your forehead would just come to the floor. But either way, whatever shape you choose here for yourself, I want you to close your eyes, and this is where we're going to tune into our breath. So your tongue is just going to rest gently on the roof of the mouth. And begin to find your inhales and your exhales. Especially when we're practicing at home, it's real easy to get distracted by either our external environments or our internal one. So each time you do start to get caught up in a story, just come back here to the present. This is your time that you have carved out for yourself. So we're going to keep this breath throughout the rest of our physical practice. Open up the eyes. Now leave that left hand where it is. Thread the needle. You're going to take your right arm underneath. Press the back of the right hand to the floor, and instead of twisting underneath your left arm, I want you to draw your right shoulder back a little bit. So it's like you're trying to square your chest off to the ground, and then you're going to fold forwards here. And then switch. Take your right hand onto the block, slide your left arm underneath for the needle. Activate through that left arm, draw that left shoulder back, and then press your right hand into the block or the floor. And then bring your left hand onto the block. Pull forwards, come into table. And then from here, you're going to tuck your toes under. Protract through the shoulder blades. Start to spread your shoulder blades apart. Lift your knees just an inch above the floor, and I want you to feel like you're trying to drag your feet to your hands and vice versa. Hold here for 3, for 2, and then 1. You're going to lift your hips up and back for downward dog. So as you send the hips back, just bend one knee, straighten the other. You're just going to walk out the legs, changing side to side. And then just find stillness. In your downward dog, your priority is your spine. So if you're rounding a lot here, then bend your knees to lift the hips up and back. Plant the hands, really root them down through the blocks or the floor. But I really like downward dog on the blocks. They give a little extra space everywhere in the body. Now you're going to bring your big toes to touch. Lift your heels up nice and high, send the hips back, and take your right leg up towards the ceiling. Bend that top knee, so you're gonna bring your heel in towards the glute and then just rotate your hips towards the right. So really lift that right knee up towards the ceiling. Notice if you're pushing the ribs forwards, draw them in. And then look forwards in between the blocks. So you're gonna roll forwards, bring your knee to your nose, shoulders over top of the wrist or fingers, and then step your foot down in between the blocks. Wiggle your left foot back a bit, set your knee to the floor. Blocks are gonna come to the highest height, so they're framing your right foot. You're gonna lift your chest up and then send the hips back for a half split. So hips go back, draw the right toes back to your face. And again, bend into the front leg, low lunge. And then half split, hips go back. And then one more time, bend in the front leg. Half split, stay there for a few breaths. Now bend into your front leg. Tuck your left toes under, pick up your back knee. You're in a runner's lunge, so bring that left heel right above the toes, and then draw that right hip back. So feel that power between the legs or in the legs. And now take your blocks, keep them on the highest height, just take them out in front of you towards the front of your mat. So the fingertips are gonna come onto the blocks. You're gonna bend that back knee, so you're gonna push off that leg and lift the left leg up, so you're coming into a warrior three. So the left toes face the ground. Bend your right knee without collapsing through the back, the chest, just think long spine. And then you're gonna straighten your right leg. And again, you're gonna bend the knee and then straighten. So you're gonna do a few more on your own. I want you to envision like you have a hot cup of coffee or something on your low back, so try not to spill it. Next time you bend that right knee, stay there. And then take a big step back, just leave the blocks where they are. You're gonna land into a warrior two. So take the arms out to the side, keep that bend in the front leg, root down to the outer edge of that back foot. Reverse your warrior, just gonna take that left arm in front of the body, right arm up and over, breathe to the side. And then come back into warrior two. Take your right forearm to the right thigh, and I just want you to reach your left arm up towards the ceiling. So draw the ribs in, and then wrap your left arm behind the back. So feel like you're pressing your spine into that left arm. Keep drawing that left shoulder back, lift the chest up towards the ceiling. And then bring yourself back up into warrior two. Keep that bend in the front leg, reverse warrior, right arm up and over. And then you're gonna windmill your hands down to your blocks. So grab your blocks, turn on the ball of your back foot. Set your blocks on the lowest height, framing your right foot. And then step back, downward dog. Come forwards into a plank, so shoulders over top of the wrists. You might have to wiggle the feet back here. Set the knees to the ground. Untuck the toes, so you're in a leaning table. Engaging through the inner thighs, glutes, and core. Bend the elbows, you're gonna come into a push-up. You're gonna lower down, broad through the chest, press yourself back up. Tuck the toes under, downward dog. Bring your big toes to touch. Heels lift, send the hips back, and then take your left leg to the ceiling. Bend that top knee, bring your heel to the glute. Rotate your hip to the left. Keep sending that left knee up. And then look forwards. Bring that left knee into your nose. Really protract through the shoulder blades so you have some room. Step down in between the blocks. Back knee comes to the floor. The blocks to the highest height. So fingertips on the blocks, lift the chest up. And then half split, hips go back, flex the left foot. And again, bend into the front leg, low lunge. Half split, hips go back. One more time, bend in the front leg. Half split, pause there. And then low lunge, bend in the front leg, tuck your right toes under, pick up your back knee. Take your blocks towards the front of your mat. Fingertips onto the blocks, and I just want you to find the legs first. Bring that right heel right above the toes, hug that left hip back. Long spine, and then bend that back knee, push off of it. Warrior three, right leg lifts. So you might have to adjust your blocks depending on where you are. Bend your left knee without collapsing anywhere, and then straighten the left leg. And then keep going. How's that feeling on the glute today? Bend your left leg, take a step back, land in that warrior two. Take that right arm in front of the body, left arm up and over. Reverse. And come back into warrior two. Take your left forearm to the left thigh, just reach that right arm up towards the ceiling. Wrap that right arm behind the back. You're coming into a half bind. Envision like you're pressing your spine into that right arm. And bring yourself up, warrior two. Windmill your hands down onto the blocks. Set your blocks on the lowest height, framing your left foot. You're on the ball of your back foot. Step back, downward dog. Come forwards in a plank, shoulders over top of the wrists. Set the knees to the floor. Untuck the toes. Come into that push-up. So bend the elbows, they'll graze the side ribs. Press yourself back up. And then shift the hips back for child's pose. Just take a few breaths here. Bring yourself up in a table. Place your blocks off to the side. So your hands will come to the ground and then make your way into downward dog. Heels lift, bend the knees, you're gonna look forwards. Travel to the top of the mat. So you can either step forwards or hop forwards. Fingertips or shins lift up halfway. Fold down into your legs. Coming to stand, arms sweep up. Hands come together, heart prayer. All right, so we're gonna move through a few sun A's. Reach both arms up as you take an inhale. Hinge from the hips, empty your breath as you exhale. Halfway lift to lengthen. Set the hands down, you're gonna step back into plank or table. Lower all the way down to the floor with control. Untuck the toes, press the tops of feet on the ground. Wrap the elbows in a center baby cobra, draw the chest forwards and up. And then lower down. Tuck your toes under, press yourself up to table or full plank. And then come into downward dog. Take a few breaths there. Looking forwards, heels lift, bend the knees, make your way to the top of the mat. Halfway lift to lengthen, and then fold down into your legs. Coming to stand, arms reach up. Hands together in prayer. So we'll do two more like that. Inhale to reach up. Fold into the legs. Halfway lift. Hands down, stepping back into plank. With control, lower yourself down to the ground. Untuck the toes, baby cobra, chest forwards and up. Lower down. Toes tuck under, press yourself back up. Downward dog. And then one more time. Look forwards, bend the knees, hop or step, top of the mat. Halfway lift, and then fold it down. Coming to stand, arms reach up. Hands together, heart prayer. Last one, arms up. Fold forwards. Halfway lift. Hands to the floor, stepping back into plank. Chaturanga, your back bend of choice, whether it's baby cobra, maybe upward dog is in your practice. Meeting in downward dog. Take a few breaths there. Looking forwards, bend the knees. Make your way to the top of the mat. Halfway lift. And then fold it down. Coming to stand, arms reach up. Hands come together, heart prayer. So your feet are going to be about hip distance apart. Now you're going to bend your knees, lower the hips down, and come into a chair. So make sure you're not curling under with the pelvis. Just find that natural curvature in the spine, but use your core to support the spine. Try not to let the knees knock in. Maybe get a little bit lower with the hips. When you little tiny pulses here, ready? Lift an inch, lower down an inch. Lift an inch, lower down. Keep going. Feel that fire. For 3, 2, 1. Now lower down, pause there. I want you to transfer your weight over to your right leg. Bring your left thigh in towards your chest and pause there. Now you're going to power all the way up to stand and then interlace your hands below your left knee. Find a spot to rest your gaze. Stay on it. Right arm is going to go up towards the ceiling. Now reach your left arm up and try to get your left thigh closer to you. Try not to take your arms way behind you. Draw the ribs in. Get that left leg up. And then bring your hands together in prayer. Take your time. Slowly send your left leg back for a warrior 3. So left toes face the ground. We're not here long. And then take a big step back, high lunge. Both arms are going to reach up. Bend your back knee. Send the tailbone down. And then lower down. Maybe it's just an inch. Some of you might hover or tap the knee to the floor. And then bring yourself back up. So we're going to do 4 more like that. Lower down, tap. Come back up. For 3, 2, last one. And then set your hands to the floor. 3-legged dog, right leg up towards the ceiling. Bend that top knee, open up the hips towards the right. Take a few breaths here. And then square off the hips, 3-legged dog. Come forwards, bring your knee to your nose, and then step down in between the hands. So you can use your blocks here if you like. Back knee to the floor. Low lunge, both arms are going to come forwards and up. So you're going to bring the palm of the hands together, lift the gaze up to the hands. And then set your hands down to the floor blocks, half split hips, go back. And then bend into the front leg, tuck your left toes under, pick up your back knee. Keep power in that back leg. Feel like you're drawing your feet in towards one another. Runner's lunge. You're going to hover your chest above the front thigh and reach your arms back. Feel like you're trying to bring the shoulder blades in towards one another. Keeping that long spine. The arms can stay back, or you can bring your hands together in prayer. Lean forwards a little bit more, and then you're going to float your back leg up. Come back into that warrior 3. Don't hold your breath. And then take a step back, land in warrior 2. Left arm comes in front of the body, right arm up and over, reverse. Back into warrior 2. Take your right forearm to the right thigh, left arm up towards the ceiling. Half bind, wrap that left arm behind the back. You can stay there if you'd like a full bind. You're going to take your right arm underneath the thigh and come into that full bind. Bring yourself up in warrior 2. Windmill your hands down onto the ground, step back. Now it's up to you. Downward dog, you can stay there, or if you'd like, you can come forwards in a plank. Chaturanga, your back bend, baby cobra or up dog. And we'll meet in downward dog. Together, take a breath in. Empty out. Look forwards, bend your knees, make your way to the top of the mat. Halfway lift, fold down. Coming to stand, arms sweep up. Hands come together, heart prayer. Bend the knees, lower down, come into that chair. Transfer weight over to your left foot. Keep the hips low, bring that right leg in towards the chest. Come all the way up to stand, right leg in. Set the right hand below the knee, left arm reaching up. And you can stay there, or both arms are going to reach up. Either way you're holding. And then hands come together in prayer, nice and slow. You're going to send that right leg back, finding your warrior 3. We are not long in this one. Take a step back, high lunge. High on the ball of that back foot, bend that back knee, both arms reach up. So sending the tailbone down, lower an inch, or you might come all the way down and tap. Come back up to stand. Lower down for 4, 3, 2, last one. Hands then come to the floor, 3-legged dog, left leg up towards the ceiling. Bend that top knee, open up the hips towards the left. Square it off, three-legged dog. Come forwards, knee to nose. Step your foot down in between the hands, back knee to the floor. Low lunge, arms come forwards and up. Bring the hands together, lift the gaze. Hands to the floor or blocks, half split hips, go back. How are we doing? This is your last little piece here. So you're gonna bend in the front leg, pick up your back knee, set that foundation through the legs, and then come into your runner's lunge. Long spine, arms reach back. Try to fire up that left hamstring. And then lean forwards a little bit more, and then float up for your warrior three. Taking your arms wherever you feel they need to be today. And then step back, warrior two. Reverse the left arm up and over. Back into warrior two. Extended side angle, left forearm to the thigh, right arm reaches up towards the ceiling. Half bind, wrap that right arm behind the back. And again, you can stay there, or you might add that full bind. And then bring yourself up, warrior two. Windmill your hands down to the ground, step back, again, your choice. Downward dog, you can stay there, or you can move through your own flow. Lower down onto your knees. Close the eyes, just cat-cow on your own, tune in. Last round. And then swing your legs over to either side and come down onto your bums. Legs go out in front of you, shake them out. So your left leg's gonna stay forwards. Bend your right knee and set the sole of the foot to the inside of your left leg. So if you do happen to have a strap or something like that, you can hook around the ball of your foot. You're gonna come onto your left fingertips. So use the fingertips to lift up tall. Right arm reaches up towards the ceiling. Then you're gonna fold forwards, right hand reaching for your left foot. You can stay there with one hand. You might prefer to reach forwards with both hands. And then lift your chest up. Now place your right foot on top of your left thigh. Bend your left knee and set your left foot on the ground. Hands come behind you and turn your fingers to face back. So you might feel it already, and this might be pretty intense. So then just stay where you are. If you would like, you're gonna creep yourself closer towards that left heel. Make sure you're not rounding into the shoulders. Instead, be open through the chest. And I like to add a very small rock here, just going side to side. If you are close to that heel, back it up. Back it up, back it up. Left leg goes forwards. Step your right foot to the outside of your left leg. Right hand comes on the floor behind you, left arm reaches up. And then take that left arm outside of the leg, lift up tall, and then just look back over top of the right shoulder. And come back to center. Other side, right leg forwards, left foot inner thigh. Sit up tall. Left arm reaches up towards the ceiling. Lengthen as you take a big breath in, and then exhale, fold down, reaching for your foot. And then chest lifts. Place your left foot on top of the right thigh. Bend your right knee, set your right foot on the ground. Fingers turn to face back. Bring yourself as close or as far away from that bottom heels feels good for your hips. Add that little sway. And then if you are close to that heel, back it up. Right leg comes forwards. Step your left foot outside of the right thigh. Left hand behind you, right arm reaches up. Take that right arm outside of the leg. Look back over top of the left shoulder. And then come back to center. Shake it out. And then make your way into whatever closing posture you'd like, whether it's seated meditation, on your back, on your stomach. But I highly encourage you to take a couple minutes in silence before you leave this practice and you go into the rest of your day. I want to thank you so much for being here. I'm going to leave you with this gentle reminder to always be humble, always be kind. Thank you. Namaste.